Okay, good evening. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 7:01, April 14th, 2021, the SAU Board Reorg meeting. The governor's little checklist thing here first. As chair of the SAU Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with the governor's emergency order, number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. There is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by audio and video utilizing a Zoom webinar platform where all members of the board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during the meeting, and the public has the access to contemporaneously listen and view by logging on to www.timberlane.net/Zoom SAU55. B, we have given notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing this meeting. This information has been provided along with the agenda and posted to the board's website at www.timberlane.net/SAU and www.hampsteadschools.net. C, we have provided a phone number for the public to alert this public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. That phone number is area code 603-382-6541, extension 3955. D, we will adjourn the meeting and reschedule if the public is unable to access this meeting. Additionally, all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by a roll call vote. We will begin the meeting by taking roll call attendance. When members state their presence, they must also state whether there is anyone in the room with them during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. So, Kat, could you please call the roll?
Kelly Bowes. Brian Boyle.
I am here. I am alone in the room. There are other family members in the house.
Kimberly Farah.
I'm here. I'm alone in the house.
Stephen Finnegan.
I am here alone in the room. Other members are in the household.
Amy Gentile.
Here, alone in the house.
Jason Giard.
Here, alone in the room. There's others in the house.
Barbara Kishka.
I'm present and I have other family members in the house.
Sheila Lowe's.
Here, alone in the house.
Megan Malcolm.
Here, alone in the room. Others are in the house.
John O'Neill.
I am here alone in the room and there's other people in the household.
Caitlin Parnell.
Here, I'm alone in the room. There are other members of my family in the house.
Ellen Pellegrini. Erin
Here.
Pellegrini, sorry.
That's okay. Here, alone in the room. There are others in the house.
Kristen Savage.
I'm here. I am in my room with others in the house.
And David Smith.
I'm present, alone in the room with others in the home.
Okay. Thank you, Kat. So if we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Dean, if you give me a flag, please. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty.
justice for all. Okay, at this point of the meeting, I would like to turn this over to the Superintendent, Dr. Cochran, for the election of the chair.
Point of order, though, Mr. Chairman, is I'd like to actually make a motion that we use weighted voting for this evening for Timberlane. And
Okay, so you're making a motion. There's a second to the motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. No sense of discussion here. Kat, please call the roll.
Still no Mrs. Bowes, correct?
No, Mrs. Bowes.
Mr. Boyle.
Yes.
Dr. Farah.
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
No.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm.
No.
No. Point of order, point of order. Kat, you should only call the roll on the Timber Lane board members.
Correct, technically correct. Yes.
Mr. O'Neill
Yes.
and Mrs. Savage.
Yes.
Okay. Motion
For
passes.
the record, Hampstead objects to the use of weighted voting.
Okay. Okay, now, Dr. Cochran, could you please take over the election of the chair?
All right, do we have to approve the minutes, the last 3 meetings first?
I think we can just do that once we get through this part.
In that case, I will ask for nominations for the office of chair of the board.
I'd like to nominate Brian Boyle.
Do we have any other nominations? Do we have any other nominations? And I think it's appropriate for a third time. Last call, any more nominations for the position of school board chair?
See you.
Hearing none. The only member nominated is Mr. Boyle. And can we have a roll call vote? Or do we need to in this situation?
I think you should vote, yeah.
I would request that a roll call vote be taken.
No, Ms. Bose. Mr. Boyle,
Abstain.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Barbara.
I just have a question. So obviously on July 1st, we're no longer with SAU 55. So SAU 55 will have a second reorg meeting once Timber Lane is clear.
They really won't need that because it will be Hampstead.
Oh, so there is no SAU 55 after.
Well, no, there will be. There is, Hampstead remains SEO 55, and they are the Hampstead School Board. So they won't have to go through this
Okay.
again.
So there's no separate SAU organization at that point. It's just the
I don't-
Hampstead School Board. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. What to do is I will entertain candidates for the position of vice chair for the SU 55 board. I personally, I will nominate David Smith from Hampstead. Anybody else want to nominate people?
I'll nominate Sheila Lowe's.
Okay. Anyone else want to put any nominations out there? Okay, hearing none. So I guess what I'll do is I will call for a vote first on David Smith. So Kat, could you please call the roll for the nomination of David Smith to be the vice chair? And now I guess, Kat, you realize we're now in weighted voting, so someone's gonna have to help you track this. I know you got that smile on your face. I got you. All right. Oh, there you go. You've got it. Okay. All righty. Please, Kat.
No, Ms. Bose. So we move to Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
No.
Mr. Finnegan,
No.
Ms. Gentile,
No.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Abstain.
Ms. Lowe's, Sheila,
I'm here. No.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
No.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
no,
Mr. Smith,
I think I gotta abstain. Or yes,
You don't have to abstain. No.
yes.
Okay, so you've got that tally and then, okay. Those in favor of Mrs. Lowe's for vice chair. Please call the roll, Kat.
no Ms. Bose, Mr. Boyle,
No.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
No.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Abstain.
Mrs. Malcolm,
No.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
No.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
No.
Mrs. Savage,
yes,
Mr. Smith,
No,
Okay, so what are we looking at here, Kat?
and Ms. Lowe's, you are 6-6 with 1 abstention. So who am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no, Ms. Bose. So you're 6-6 and an abstention. And on the other one, you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also with 1 abstention. So let me do the math.
While she's doing that, hopefully everyone got an opportunity to review their packets as usual. And look at, we get good support there, so we'll be looking at 3 sets of minutes here, so hopefully everyone received them.
I motion that we accept the minutes of,
Let's hang on a second, Barb. I'm waiting for, I can see the smoke burning coming out of Kat's head here.
Exactly. Where's Kim when I need her?
Sorry. And while she's doing that, well, I'd like to personally welcome the new board members here. I see some familiar faces. And a lot of people, so wish you the best. You'll find out how much fun it is to be a member of a school board for those who have never done it before. What's the matter there, Kat? Come on now. This is like election night here, you know, and the
I know. I haven't done the math in a long time, so I had to go back and remember.
make sure there's no hanging
I
chad.
have to count up all the yeses and the nos
Oh, yeah, exactly.
from each side.
Sure.
They're all weighted different.
Oh, yeah.
get you a spreadsheet.
Yeah, Nancy Louiselle onto it tonight too. Very nice.
That's not right.
Total should be. Where's the math gonna be?
Kim's got a number. I wonder if her number and my number agree.
Oh, it's,
Whirl.
we've already done this? That'd be,
You're on mute, Kim.
I'm waiting to hear Kat's number.
I do get a
oh,
number.
boy. Oh, boy.
Kim, give your number.
No, you're the secretary.
Oh,
Yeah, which is
sorry.
worse.
Sorry,
not better.
Kat. Undue
All right,
pressure.
my Timberlane no's are based on 8 people.
Okay, your Timberlane no's are based on 8 people, so it's 8 times 26.41.
Mhm.
Correct.
Or it's 6,
No.
but each no is 26.41 votes, okay, for Timberlane.
Right.
There was no 8 no's. I was,
No, Brian, you don't understand what we're talking about. So there's 6 times 26.41.
Correct.
yeah,
Okay,
158.46.
correct. Then you have 1 abstention, which was a Timberlane, so that's another 26.41.
Correct. And then
I
you
thought
have 81.45 for the 6 or the 5 for Hampstead.
Plus another Timberlane, so add 26.41. It should be 107.88 for the no.
I do not know what my happy little phone here is doing, but
Jeff, did you calculate it?
107.86. Yep.
Is that what you're getting, Jeff?
Are we looking at the nomination for Dave first?
They'll ultimately end up being the same because the votes are the same, but in reverse.
But in reverse. So I was looking at what 5 votes in the, let's just take Dave's for example, 5 votes in the affirmative for Hampstead.
mhm.
Right.
And of the 8 votes for Timberlane, I'm seeing 1 yay, and the rest no's. So 1 in favor, 7 against. So going up to the Hampstead side, I see a total of 5 votes of 1629, so the total is 8145. And for the Timberlane, I'm seeing 26.41 is the voting factor. And so it's 184.87, either in favor or against, to 26.41. Except I think on Sheila's, did you abstained on the second one, right? You abstained on your own nomination,
I
correct?
abstained on my own nomination and Barbara abstained on Dave's.
On Dave's, okay, 6, yep.
6
So
and
it's 611,
1. Yep.
Yep.
and that's 116. So it's just a flop of the votes.
Correct.
Yep. So on Dave's, it's 107.86 in favor,
Yes.
and then the no's are 158.46.
Yep. And the abstentions are 26.41.
Yes.
Okay. So it's Schiller. After all that. Okay,
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, before we move on, since we are within 3 months of a withdrawal and Hampstead will be the sole district left, and
Mhm.
since we now have no leadership positions again, I would like to ask for a motion that we require a Hampstead signature on any legal or financial documents. We did that last year. I think that Hampstead felt that it was fair to put that forward. So I'd like to put forward a motion that we do so again.
well, that, as it turned out though, Caitlin, I thought we did that 2 years ago, not last year. Because I seem to recall there was only 2 contracts were executed that myself and Lee Doobie signed. I don't recall
I said legal documents and financial. We did have, I have been signing SAU forms as the chair for the as the Hampstead chair for the SAU past year.
right. So what are the documents you're referring to then?
Any financial or legal documents is what I would be asking that Hampstead have a signature on. I think it is fair that since we are the district that's going to be left, that we are fully aware of what's happening financially and legally.
I
within
have
the
no
SAU.
problem. I guess I just was trying to clarify what that was because I know of no other hiring that's going to happen in the next 90 days.
Well, I would agree, but it would be nice for us to know that, and I trust, Brian, that you would inform Hampstead of that, but
Yep.
it makes sense that we have full knowledge of what's going on.
I have no problem with that.
Second that motion.
Okay. There's motion on the floor by Caitlin Parnell, has been seconded by, who's taking that, David?
Yes.
Okay. So Kat, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
Could you read back the motion, please?
motion for Hampstead signature on any legal and financial documents.
No.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka.
And just for clarification, this is any document that requires its signature, not just every single document, right? Okay, yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
No.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
No.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
Did you hear me, Kat? Sorry.
no.
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
it ends up being a 10-3.
So it passes. Without even going through that. Way to vote, so. Okay. Moving on here. Approval of minutes. We have 3 sets of minutes.
I have a motion to accept the minutes of May 20th, 2020, June 25th, and July 16th, 2020.
We're gonna do a twofer, okay? There's a
Threefer.
second. Is there a second to that motion? Going once? Could someone want to second this motion? Wow. I will second the motion. I mean, for some reason, people don't want to, so. Has everyone, well, because you have new board members that probably haven't, they'll be.
Brian, I haven't even had a chance to look at them yet, so sorry.
Okay. But if you want, I'll be happy to take a few minutes if people want to go through this. These are minutes of May 20th, as well as minutes of June 25th.
And July something.
Well, July, you didn't mention that. So we had a special meeting.
Yes, she did, Brian. She did say it's a threefer.
I thought she said twofer. I thought I said two.
No, you said twofer, I said threefer.
Oh, okay. So see now, it's my hearing now. Okay. Well, what would be the pleasure of the board? Would people like to review the minutes? I'll be happy to spend the time. I've reviewed the minutes myself.
Well, are there any objections?
Yeah, I'm looking at the screen here. And if people have any concerns.
This is David. The only thing I'd bring up is on the first page of the May 20th minutes to change Mr. Lee Doobie to his name, missing a B.
Okay. Oh, Mr. Lee do on the title.
Yeah. In the minutes it was nice, but yeah, that's a different spelling. There you go. Thank you. Okay. All those in favor of approval of the minutes? Signify by saying yes. And so basically we're going to have a roll call again. Roll call, Kat, please.
Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Abstain.
Ms. Gentile,
Abstain.
Mr. Giard,
Abstain.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
I want to abstain.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Abstain.
Mrs. Savage,
Abstaining.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Kat, do we have enough votes here to approve these minutes? I know that I.
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We have to break them up because different people weren't there for different meetings.
Well, basically, all the new members weren't even there, period.
Right.
It's
Almost-
7 to 6.
So
So you will.
Yeah,
would
an
have seven.
abstain vote doesn't count as anything. So it's just
No, I know,
basically
but-
yeas versus nays.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have 706. So
So the motion passes.
Motion passes. Okay, thank you. Next thing on the agenda is the appointment of treasurer. Our current treasurer is Laura Jones, and she is seeking reappointment to remain the SAU55 treasurer. And a motion there to,
I'll make a
motion to
motion
reappoint.
and I'll second that.
okay, Kat, roll call, please. Keep Laura Jones the treasurer?
Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next agenda is the renomination of the assistant treasurer, who is currently Kim Burnham and looking to seek reappointment as our assistant treasurer.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
May
Pick one.
Any other names, concerns? Hearing none. Kat, please call a roll.
Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
Yep.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next on our reorg list is the renomination recording secretary of Kat Lancaster.
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion.
Okay. Did you, who seconded that?
I'll second it.
Okay. All righty.
So who's first? Because I heard Sean.
Me.
Sheila.
Sheila.
Yeah.
That's it. Seconded by Sean.
It's like we're playing chicken, Sean and I.
There you go. Kat, please call the roll.
Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Enthusiastic, yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
Sorry, Kat, but yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations, Kat. That's, I think. Our next nomination is for the reappointment of council. Current council is Jackson Lewis.
Make a motion to reappoint.
I'll second that.
Okay. Kat, please call the roll.
Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Sorry, yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
No.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
No.
Mrs. Savage,
yes,
Mr. Smith,
No.
Okay. So before we move on to the next one, so that, that motion passes. So in light of this other motion, we'll call it Hampstead's signature, that the votes are there to retain Jackson Lewis as counsel for the next, well, till June 30th. So, and I'll be probably sending it out to you, David, and Sheila for signature. So,
Thank you.
Okay.
approval of bonding treasurers. This is another annual type thing. Make sure our treasurers are bonded per the recommendation of the superintendent.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. Kat, call roll, please.
Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan, Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
yes,
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next on the agenda here is to maintain TD Bank on the recommendation of superintendent as the bank depository, TD Bank.
I'll make
So
that motion.
moved. I'll second it.
Kat?
Could I just, a little discussion, how does Hampstead feel about that? TD Bank, okay?
Oh, yeah, that's more than fine.
Okay, go ahead, Kat, please.
I apologize. It sounds like my dog's going to bark through this. Mr. Boyle,
Yes, your dog likes TD Bank, I guess. I don't know.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
yes,
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next on agenda is the authorization of the SAU board chair to sign professional staff contracts. Again, I know nothing in the works and other instruments as needed, as we discussed and voted on a few items ago. Looks like there will be multiple signatures on any of these, contractual instruments. So I don't know if there's any really need to we already voted this. So probably really no reason to revote that. Ethics policy. In November 15, 2017, the board adopted a ethics policy. It's in each of your packets.
Point of order.
Go ahead, Kim.
On the last item on the agenda, the board does need to authorize the chair because there's only one signature on certain contracts and other instruments. You wouldn't have multiple signatures.
Mm-hmm. So what would be the board's pleasure? I will do that and then just copy the Hampstead board chair. Would that be okay with the Hampstead board?
That works, Brian. Thank you.
Okay.
So do we need a roll on that?
I'll make a motion to authorize the SAU board chair to sign professional contracts and other instruments as needed.
And I'll just keep you informed there, David.
Yes, thank you.
I'll second that.
Kat?
Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
yes,
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
yes,
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
yes,
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay. So as I said a few minutes ago, we have there's a policy for each member. You have in your packet an ethics policy. It's under policy code BCA SX. So it's encouraged to have each board member read it, sign it, and turn it in. Next, superintendent's report.
Sorry, quick question.
Sorry, go ahead, Barbara, go ahead.
Going to be through electronic documents? The ethics statement?
I
Or
would think,
do we have to go with
we could send that into the, sure, electronically, sure. You have a copy, do you have it? I think it's in everyone's packet.
Well, usually Mr. Dowd sends them around by Panda Docs or Mrs. Belcher.
Well, I'm sure we can ask to have that done, sure.
That makes it easier. If it's
Great.
okay.
I will make that inquiry tomorrow. I'll do that. As part of the meeting, I'd like to reintroduce our superintendent, Dr. Brian Cochran. Some of you new members have not, I'm guessing, may have not met with Brian yet. Brian, is this is your first SAU55 meeting?
And pleasure to be here. I have sat in on some earlier in the year. Of Hampstead meetings, been in the audience a couple of times as well. Appreciative of the opportunity to serve SAU55 and the administration. I don't have a report this evening, but between now and the end of the year, I look forward to opportunities to work with you all and try to do everything we can for both districts. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian. I put on the agenda just to put on the agenda, quite frankly, withdrawal update. As we all know, there's just not a lot of time here, less than 90 days. And from what I understand, I know Timberlane has been busy doing their thing, and from what I understand, as is Hampstead, hiring new staff and office space. So hopefully this transition goes as smooth as possible. And when the appropriate time comes, I believe, want to help me out here, Jeff, that we should have some kind of a final audit, just to address any of these, any might be outstanding issues. So are they right now? Are those audits going in? Are they being conducted now, Jeff? What's going on with the audits?
We have the current audit is in the final stage right now with a review at Plosic. So our audit manager has informed me of that, and the closing audit wouldn't really be able to fully commence until June 30th. And a lot of times we can get information ready ahead of time. I think we're going to have information ready for them, but we need to make sure that the year is closed out, look at what our liabilities are, and that sort of thing. It should be relatively straightforward at that point. So ultimately, I think that it goes again to liabilities, and I think that we're going to have all, essentially all employee liabilities settled at 6:30, and paid out and off the books, either retired or whatever the case may be. And I think at that point, the general liability would be for anything that has to transfer over to the districts, and also the long-term liability for other post-employment retirement benefits. So that'd be it.
Great.
Pretty straightforward. We had a very large liability assigned to us, allocated to us from the New Hampshire retirement system for our share of pension liabilities. But at the end of the day, that's really based on an assessment of payroll, and we're assigned a pro rata share of the total deficit. So once we have no payroll, then that allocation would be zero. So really, we're just looking at that other post-employment liability line as your primary liability to settle up. That's that.
All right, thank you. Again, I put on the agenda, I had to schedule future meetings. Quite frankly, at this stage.
I'm sorry, can we go back to the withdrawal?
Sure.
There still needs to be negotiation between the Hampstead Board and the Timberlane Board for the final long-term liabilities. We cannot just depart. Caitlin, I know you're aware of this, that we need to sit down and have another negotiation. Does Hampstead have a negotiating team for the withdrawal? Because I will be contacting council shortly. I was waiting till you had your elections and set your new board. But we need to get back to the table on the final negotiations for the withdrawal. I also am concerned that Hampstead's audits are 2 years behind. And our
You know
current
what,
CFO.
Ms. Farah,
excuse
Dr.
me.
Farah, no, there's no reason for you to be talking about Hampstead's audits. We will
Excuse
be
me.
ready. You walked away from the agreement that we had ready in place. So please do not come on this to this meeting and lecture
Okay.
Hampstead.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Boyle, could you let me finish as the chair of the Timberlane Board and then let Ms. Parnell rebut what I'm going to say?
Okay, please.
There is a reason to bring the Hampstead audits in. Our auditors are saying we cannot close out the final books. Hampstead and Timberlane are part of SAU 55. Until Hampstead's audits are done, Timberlane cannot fully withdraw from SAU because we don't know if there's any other issues beyond what we're seeing in SAU 55 or Timberlane. So that's the reason they need to be brought in.
Well, you have that in writing,
walking away
Dr.
from the
Farah?
excuse me?
You have that in writing?
I will get it in writing.
Please do. That's complete fabrication.
So you think that's complete, okay, I will get it in writing.
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
So regardless, we need to negotiate out the long-term liability of the insurance buyouts.
So you can have your counsel contact our counsel, and then we'll go back to the table.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then I also will reach out to Campo's office and see what's going on here, because this should not be a big debate over, you know, the reports are the reports. So let's the auditors do their thing, and then we can address it. It's, you know, that's how I look at it. Barbara?
I'm just a little concerned that the legal fees could exceed the amount of liability that we're negotiating over.
Well, like I said, I would like to see what's going on here first from Campo's firm there, you know.
Well, Campos firm would not have anything to do with these long-term liabilities.
Yeah, but you're waiting for them on the result of the audit.
No, I'm not
That's what you just
waiting
said.
for them. No. I'm saying that the audits need to be complete before
Okay.
we can get the final drawdown of the funds that are going to be due back to Timberlane from the unreserved fund balance from the SAU.
Okay. Do you have an idea, Jeff, how much is in the unreserved fund balance right now? Do you have any idea? A year ago, it was about 300,000. I have no idea what it is now.
Yeah, I have to take a look, but we have a lot of liabilities that we're gonna have to settle up before the wind down. So it really is a much broader discussion. Hold on just a second, though. I can probably find the number for you, but it's really gonna be much more relevant after we've settled everything else. So just a
Okay.
minute.
And what is your expectation, Jeff, in terms of when you see that happening?
What, the unreserved fund balance or the audit? I know that the audit for
No,
SAU.
not your, I'm sorry, when you said you're in the process right now of settling out some of these liabilities. So
Right, it's a determination on who's retiring and what time people have left and that sort of thing. So I'm more than happy to get together a forecast for you of that if it would be helpful. Probably would be.
Yeah, so that's what I'll do is you can get that to me, Jeff, and I'll make sure it gets to Timberlane and to Hampstead and, so we can set something up.
But back to the question, what is the current amount in the unreserved fund balance?
For right now, hold on just a second. I want to go off the audited financials. Hold on just a second now. Just see here. The trial balance, looking at the trial balance, sorry.
Well, he's looking, Mr. Boyle, could we get copies of the current expenditures for the SAU? Current budget to date, year to date?
Okey-doke. So you're looking for as of March 30th? Is that what you're looking for?
That would be great.
I'm making out, Jeff.
You doing all right? Hold on just a second here, guys. Sorry. Hold on up. I have some statements from audit. I just wanted to make sure that I could tie to them at year end. So looking at a fund balance of about 313,000.
Okay.
As of the end of the year last year.
At the end of last year.
Yep.
So I'm gonna ask a question anyways. Can I assume that the settlements that were made last summer came out of that unassigned fund balance?
Did not. No, because those weren't made until August, I believe, right?
Right, whatever that time frame was, but I didn't know where those monies came from.
It came out of the current year budget.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay. So Jeff, I don't know where you guys are, if we could get what the end of March numbers look like.
Sure.
And I can get them to both boards. And then we'll see where this is going. And then, as was suggested, we'll set up a team council and see if we can get this taken care of. So I will leave it. So I guess that agenda item there. So I don't see the full board scheduling a full board meeting unless it's necessary. So I will get in touch with both chairs and we'll see. Once we have enough information here, so we can set something up between the boards.
Okay.
Anything else while we're here?
I think there's a need to move into a non-public under personnel. Is that right, Dr. Cochran?
Yes. Nancy, did you want to speak to that?
Wasn't aware of that one.
Nancy, you're on mute, hon.
I had Dean set up a non-public if necessary. I didn't realize we would.
So I can speak about that in non-public, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's looking for a motion to go into non-public under must be personnel matter.
Oh, you need to cite the.
I don't know what it is.
You want to see?
I don't know what's.
Reputation.
Hang on one second. I will find out. I'll find it.
2C.
Thank you. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
Gotta be faster, Sean.
Yeah, please call the roll.
Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Ms.
Will we
Moon,
need to come back to this meeting?
To seal the minute.
Okay.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
I make a motion that we seal the minutes from non-public.
Second.
Okay. Kat, please call roll.
Mr. Boyle,
Yes.
Dr. Farah,
Yes.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes.
Ms. Gentile,
Yes.
Mr. Giard,
Yes.
Mrs. Kishka,
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's,
Yes.
Mrs. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Pellegrini,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes.
and Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay, so what I've got my homework here, get us an updated budget. And then once we have get a little bit closer here get some numbers from Jeff about outstanding liabilities. We'll set a meeting here between Timberlane and Hampstead, the team, council to see if we can wrap this thing up. So I will be in touch with those. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So made.
All righty.
Do we have a item 13, schedule future meetings? So are we looking, we'll schedule as needed down the road or talk about it?
I think that's what we're gonna have to do, Brian, because basically I hesitate to set up a meeting right now, not knowing without that information. That's,
Why would we set up another meeting?
we may not need another meeting, but there's gonna be some kind of meeting between teams. Not, you won't need a full board meeting,
No, we won't.
but
Each individual board will need to sign off.
unless something else arises, which just happened here in the last hour. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Okay.
All right. So
All right, good night.
Do I need a vote to close this thing up? I don't think I need.
No.
a vote.
I don't think we do we?
Well, good night, everybody. I don't think we need a formal vote to adjourn the meeting.
Oh,
Good night.